So we've all been there. You show up to a shoot, talent is ready to go, lighting a set, except everyone's waiting on you because one of your wireless video receivers decided to put the bed somewhere in between prep and the shoot day. That's where this guy comes into play. I can't recall the number of times this exact scenario has happened to me on set where we're trying to connect an extra wireless monitor and it simply won't pair no matter how hard we try. Enter DJI's new standalone video receiver that pairs with their new standard combo, and I was able to use it on a recent cooking show where it performed flawlessly. Now, as a full disclosure, DJI did send me this unit for review, but this isn't a paid review or sponsored video. I would, however, like to shout out everyone that's over on my Patreon that helped keep the lights running. This month, I'll be posting in-depth behind the scenes from the cooking show that I mentioned, and that happens to be my biggest job every year, so if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and check out my Patreon. Previously, DJI only offered the hybrid monitor combo, meaning that you had to use their monitor to receive a signal, but now you can get this receiver separately, so you can put it on whatever monitor you want. This is great because most focus pullers I know prefer pulling on a 7-inch or 13-inch small HD monitor because of all the great focus assist tools there are. In terms of technical specs, it has the same 20,000 foot range as the previous monitor did, and it operates on either a 2.4 or 5.8 gigahertz frequency, as well as additional DFS channels, which are typically reserved for things like weather radar. It'll automatically hop frequencies depending on the environment and selects the best available channel so that you don't ever have to think about it. Another welcome new feature is support for fractional frame rates such as 2398, 2997, and 5994, and you can now also transmit red or ARRI metadata over SDI to your DIT using QTake, which should be particularly helpful for those doing a lot of virtual productions. Probably the coolest feature is broadcast mode, which allows you to connect an unlimited amount of receivers, which is great, so you can pretty much be Oprah and just give out monitors to anyone that needs one. When you're in broadcast mode, you can toggle between HD for a higher bitrate signal at 40 megabits or smooth for more channel availability at 20 megabits. It's really cool seeing how DJI is tackling video transmission. You don't have to pay your way to an upgraded model just to have unlimited receivers or better range. It all just comes standard with the DJI Transmission, not to mention all the headaches it'll probably solve you with reliability alone. As a side anecdote, one of my ACs recently told me that they had a recent job at SoFi Stadium during a live event, and the DJI Transmission was the only wireless system that worked throughout the entire stadium with about 4 other Teradek systems. Now, this isn't meant to be a dig at Teradek products. I own and bought an entire Bolt 4K LT Max with the array and all the monitors and modules, but when such an expensive system produces so many problems, it's not much of an on-set solution as it is an on-set problem. And when an entire production is waiting for you because one of your touchscreen monitors simply refuses to pair, it gets annoying pretty quick. Teradek's parent company is Creative Solutions, and my running joke is that you always have to get creative with your solutions when their products end up crapping out on you on set. Just saying. All right, now let's talk about power. The standard combo comes with a couple of these neat little DJI batteries, as well as one D-tap cable. And I really wish that the kit came with an extra one of these cables so that you don't have to worry about power on either the transmitter or receiver side. But I actually just picked up this gold mount plate from Tilta, so I don't have to rig an extra magic arm hanging off the camera. So I'm going to be real with you guys. I usually tend to really dislike Tilta products, mostly because their product designs are just downright annoying, and their battery plate for the DJI Transmission comes with a few caveats that may or may not be their fault. For starters, it will only pass through power when the unit is actually turned on. This means that not even the camera will power on until the DJI Transmission is turned on. And I'm assuming this is because the plate uses metal contacts to literally pass power through the unit. but I probably would have preferred a slightly larger cradle with wiring that bypasses that whole system so that you can actually power other devices without having to turn the unit on. The second thing that drives me crazy is that the I/O ports come out facing the operator rather than the same side as your camera ports. My guess is that only one side outputs power while the other only inputs power, which is still unfortunate. Rather than using a simple little jumper cable, you need to snake your SDI cable all the way around the entire battery just to plug it in. If you're looking to keep things small, the standard combo also includes a DJI battery plate as well as a Sony MPF plate, which I really like using with smaller rigs so that I don't have to use an entire gold mount setup with rails, and again, so that I can keep things small and nimble. You can also attach the transmitter directly underneath an RS3 Pro for wireless video when you're on a gimbal. I've seen some pretty interesting setups that are jerry-rigging batteries and transmitters to a small Ronin just to get a wireless feed, but with the included cradle, that eliminates all of that for a really sleek solution that saves a lot of unnecessary rigging. I'll be totally honest, the DJI Transmission is really hard to beat, especially at this price point. The closest Teradek equivalent is over $6,000. Well, this is literally a quarter of the price and it includes better range, reliability, and an unlimited amount of receivers. You can get a DJI video receiver for $16.99 or go for the standard combo with a transmitter and receiver for $24.99. It makes professional grade wireless video that much more accessible to filmmakers while allowing us to be a little bit more brand agnostic and not be laid into a specific brand just because it's an industry standard. But don't take my word for it. Just check what's hanging off the side of my camera.